Okay, guys, this is take one. We have like 35 minutes before I get kicked out of the studio. So this is the beauty of deadlines because I wanted to record this podcast before my birthday, which is tomorrow. I'm turning 29 tomorrow. And so I set a deadline to post the episode by my birthday tomorrow, but you know, knowing me, I didn't start until the last minute. I woke up late today and I called into a studio. They're like, oh, it's booked out from 1 p.m. onwards, and I woke up at like 10:30. So I was like, I need to get in here ASAP because I gotta be a man of my word. I gotta do what I say and say what I do. So even if it wasn't gonna be the best, I'm just putting all my energy into now, and I'm just being as present as I can. I have no plan. I have a sort of an idea of what I'm gonna talk about, but let's just go with the flow right now. So today it is, I think it's around 12:10 p.m., 8th of September 2022. My name is Brendan Chaw, aka Maverex. And I want to tell you guys about why I wanted to start this podcast. So I've actually wanted to do a podcast for so long. Like everyone tells me, oh, you should do a podcast, and then you should interview people. You seem to have good talking skills, conversational skills. And so I actually started a podcast with my good friend Michael. He's going to be in episode 2, by the way. Michael Luong, my boy, shout out to him. We had a podcast called Band of Beasts around 4 years ago. But the only thing is we only got up to like 7 episodes or 8 episodes. And we kind of dropped off because he had his own thing to do. I wasn't committed, I wasn't consistent, and so we kind of dropped off. And so the thing that breaks my heart is like, damn, like what if we continued to do that progressively, even if we stayed consistent, even if it was just like once a month, we would be so ahead of the curve. We would have had so many episodes by now. That was 4 years ago. But gotta throw that out the window. You can't regret what you didn't do in the past. Well, you can, but the only way to be productive and progressive is to look forward and look where you are right now and continue moving forward. So moving on to where we are right now, I was like, I need to start this podcast. Everyone's been telling me, I've been telling myself, and it wasn't until the beginning of this year, around March 2022, I had the biggest slap in the face. I was like, okay, I need to change something in my life because this is exactly what happened. This is what kind of inspired me to build that momentum in my life, because March 2022, earlier this year, around 6 months ago, around 6 months ago, I moved back home to my parents' house. I was living at Thornley, which is like near Hornsby area, if you know Sydney. It's around an hour away from my family's house, for a whole year, and I had a good time. I learned a lot about myself, learned how to cook, learned how to just be responsible for myself. 28 years old at the time, and still am 28 years old till tomorrow. But long story short, moved back to my parents' house, and I was still with my girlfriend at the time. And so there was one day I just woke up one day, and I was like feeling so much pain in my stomach, like in my abdominal region. And I was like, what is this pain? And usually when I wake up every single morning without what's that word? Without hassle? No, it doesn't even matter. The first thing that I do, always when I wake out of bed, go to the toilet, vroom, a whole dump truck of shit comes out my ass, and I just feel great. I feel so light. I feel so free. 100% of all the stuff in my bowels is just cleaned out. But this time, when I got out of bed, I just felt so bad. I got out of bed, went to sit in the toilet, and only 25% came out. And it still hurt. Like, it was still, I thought that the poop would help, but I went back into bed because I was feeling so bad. Woke up an hour later, came to the toilet again, exact same thing happened again. Another 25% came out. And so only 50% of my bowels had been cleared at this time. I could feel it. Don't ask me exactly how I know the math, but I just felt that there was still 50% in my stomach, and it hurt here. And I was like, what is this feeling? And so I went back to bed again, woke up, and I was just like, oh, this is still feeling bad. Like and another 25% came out. And so still 25% there. Like it's just not normal. Like usually 100% comes out. So I was like, I can't keep doing this. Something's got to change. So I went to get the beads, you know, the wheat bags where you put it in the microwave and it heats up. I put that on my stomach and instantly satisfaction and relief, pain just subsided. And I felt way better, but it still wasn't 100%. But the pain went from like some kind of 80% all the way down to like 10%. So it was a big, huge, massive improvement. So long story short, I continued throughout my day and I was like, oh, okay, it's much better. But I had booked an appointment to see the doctor the next day because they were fully packed out. And I didn't think it was an emergency, so I didn't do anything about it. And so it wasn't until that night. I went on throughout my day. That night, I was on the phone with my girlfriend at the time. And we're having a chat because she was living in Brisbane. She just moved back to Brisbane when I moved back to my family's house because we were living together for 9 months. So I met her, long story short, I met her online through this app called Bigo. It's like a live streaming app, and I'm a host, so I'm live streaming people watching me. She's a host, she was live streaming people watching her, and we became real close, fell in love online, and we were talking like 24/7. And then she came down to visit me in Sydney, because she was living in Brisbane. She came down to visit me for supposed to be 2 weeks. She came in June, and for all of you guys that know, June 2021 in Sydney, lockdown happened. So she came intentionally to visit me for 2 weeks. She ended up living with me for 9 months straight. She didn't even, that was the first time I met her. And within a week, she was forced to live with me in my room 24/7 in my lockdown. We couldn't leave the house for 9 months straight. So that's we'll get into that story another day, but that changed a lot. So obviously we got really close. There was a lot of tension, everything, but we learned a lot about each other. God bless her. Ava, if you're watching this video, sending you all the love. And but anyways, so I was on the phone with her. So she had just gone back to Brisbane. She's back with her family finally for the first time in 9 months. And I'm on the phone with her, and I was just like, okay, this might be a little bit too much information, but there was nothing sexual or anything, but I was on the phone. I wasn't phone sexing with her or anything, but I was I was fondling my balls. I was just for some reason, I was just feeling my balls. I wasn't even jerking off or anything. I was feeling my balls, and I felt my balls, and I felt my left nut, and I was like, what the fuck is that? My left nut was solid. It was literally a marble. It was rock hard. It was so hard. Literally like that. It was heavy as well. And it was, you know how testicles, if you've ever touched a testicle before, it's not spongy, but it's squishy a little bit. It's not rock hard. This one was rock hard, and it was bigger than it usually was. It was bigger than my right one. And I was like, what the fuck? I don't know what to feel. But the pain was gone. There was no pain. So I was like, what? Well, I'm going to see the doctor tomorrow anyway, so I guess I'll see him tomorrow. Is it an emergency? I don't know. But so I'm going to see the doctor tomorrow anyway, so I'm all good. So got off the phone with her, went to sleep. I woke up the next day. Oh fuck! I remembered my balls was hard last night. I'm gonna feel my ball now, and then bro, it was twice the size of how it was already enlarged the last night before, and it was still rock hard. So I was like, what the fuck do I do? What the fuck do I do? So obviously I went straight to the doctor. Then I had no I actually no, I don't think I even had. I think I still waited till my appointment time, which was 3 p.m. So I still waited another 6 hours or something. Went to see a doctor, and this doctor, he's the funniest guy. He's always cracking jokes. He's the really down-to-earth guy. He was never serious. He was always just making jokes. Anyways, he went to check my balls, and he didn't know what it was. Couldn't tell what it was. And so he was like, well, it could be this, it could be that. And what he said was because he's always having a good time. He was like, it could be testicular torsion. And he paused for a second. He's like, it could be testicular torsion. And if it is, you could die. And I was like, what? Like, I was speechless. He just paused and like looked at me seriously and was like, you could die. He made eye contact with me, did not blink, did not break eye contact, and then looked away back to his computer screen and continued to type up this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, you need to go to get an ultrasound emergency right now. And I was like, okay, yeah, fuck, sign me up. I went straight to the emergency. No, I went straight to the ultrasound. I got an ultrasound, and I had like the gel. This beautiful, kind young woman was like putting the gel on my balls, and I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, I've never been in this position before. And like, she was amazing. She was making me feel very calm about it, and I felt very good. She's like, it could be what's it called? It could be an infection. And I was like, yes, please be an infection, because if it's testicular torsion, like, they could remove the testicle. So I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. And so she was like, if it's an infection, it will probably go away in a few weeks, and there's no chance that you're gonna lose your balls. And I was like, oh, fuck, please be an infection, because I had hopes that it was an infection, because the day before, that night that I was on the phone with a girlfriend, I think I got off the phone with her and I fucking jacked off, and I wasn't okay, I'm not proud to say this, but at that time, I wiped it off and I made sure that there was no residue, but I didn't go to wash myself. I swear to God, guys, I usually clean myself really clean and fine and dandy, but this time I just didn't feel like, I was just lazy, and I was hoping that my infection was from me not cleaning myself properly. And so so I was like, please be an infection, please me being a dirty cunt, please. And so they got me the ultrasound. They still couldn't see anything. They couldn't see that the veins or the arteries or something were twisted, because that's what testicular torsion is. It's when the testicle gets twisted and blood stops circulating to that testicle. And so they couldn't see any signs of that. So they had to take me to the emergency room instantly, like immediately at that point in time, because they had, if it was testicular torsion, you need to have operation within like 6 to 12 hours or maximum 48 hours, or you could lose a ball, because obviously the blood flow, and it would die. And so I was like, okay, I'm going straight to the emergency room. Came back outside, and I tried to start my car, and it's like, I'm like, fuck, I'm stuck here by myself. My car is dead, because I was too rushed. I was too, like, my mind was going all over the place. So I had to, like, I left the light on, so my car died. So I had to call my dad. I was like, Dad, can you please come pick me up, because my car is dead? And he's like, are you serious right now? I told you always to check the light. I'm like, Dad, please, I'm stressed out right now. I might need surgery on my balls. Can you please come? And he's like, yeah, fine, I'll come. He comes half an hour later, and I'm like stressing out so much, and he's still lecturing me when he gets here. I'm just like, well, Dad, please, like, I could lose my testicle. I don't know, like, can we just go? Anyways, we fix the car. We go back to my house, and he's like, let me have some food first. Let me have some dinner. I'm like, Dad, we need to go now. He's like, don't worry, 20 minutes not gonna hurt anything. I was like, I don't know. But I was like, he was so adamant that he needed to eat something that I was like, fine, whatever. So he went to eat, and at that point, I was hungry too. So I was like, my soul was telling me, you probably shouldn't eat. You probably should not eat. But my rational mind was like, you should eat, get some energy for yourself. But my soul, my heart was like, don't eat. Don't know why, but just don't eat. It's not a good idea. And I was like, fuck it. Dad's eating, I'll just eat. And I was like eating, and had a whole like not instant noodles. I had like Hokkien noodles and everything, like a huge meal and everything. So finally, my dad drives me to the emergency room. I get to the hospital, and I speak to the triage lady, and they're like checking my balls, and I don't know at the time if they actually like checked it and like squeezed it and shit, but they asked me like, when was the last time you ate? And I was like, like maybe like half an hour ago. And then she's like, what did you eat? And I was like, I had like Hokkien noodles, I had like pretty much like, and rice as well. And she's like, okay, so you pretty much like had a full meal. And I was like, yeah, pretty much. And she's like, okay, then we can't administer anesthetic to you. And I was like, no, we can't. They can't perform surgery on me because they can't put me to sleep. Because if they put me to sleep, then there's a big chance that I could vomit and the food would go into my lungs and I would kill myself from suffocating from the vomit. And so I was like, no, I knew I shouldn't have listened. I knew I shouldn't have eaten. It's all my dad's fault, his fault for eating and everything, and that's why I ate. But obviously now I look back and I know it was all my fault. I didn't have to eat. Just I was blaming my dad for eating because that made me want to eat. But that's not, no, that throws away my power. So obviously looking back now, I was like, it was all my fault. I take full responsibility. Anyways, I was stressing out even more because they're like, if it is testicular torsion, we need to operate right now because we don't know what it is until we open up to see if it's twisted or not. Because the scans, the ultrasounds, they don't show, either X-rays don't show anything either. So I was shitting myself. I was like, what the fuck do I do? I was like sitting there on the hospital bed, just waiting. I'm like, fuck, man, they need to operate ASAP, but they can't until 12 hours until I'm fully digested. And I'm just like stressing out, like, what do I do? And so I was like, okay. I guess I can't do anything. Like, I already ate. I can't, like, I guess I didn't think about vomiting it out, but the doctor's just like, just wait a bit and we'll decide ASAP. So a few hours go past, like 2 or 3 hours go past. And then they're like, we need to operate now. We're gonna do a different way. We're not gonna give the I don't know if like it was a different setup or they were just like, no, we're gonna risk it. So we ended up going to the hospital bed and I asked the doctor, I was like, okay, doc, like what's the chance of me losing my testicle? And then he's like, honestly, we don't know until we open up, we dissect it and open it up to see if the testicle is dead or not. And so I'm like, fuck. Okay, so long story short, I need to accept that it's gone. I need to accept that the testicle is gone. And because from my perspective, it was like, if I have hope, if I have expectations that I'm gonna have both my testicles left, I may be disappointed when I wake up and they tell me that I only have one left. So I need to, in my mind, in my perspective, I needed to accept that testicle was gone already. And so I started to ask the doctor, I was like, what are the consequences? What are the outcomes of if I do lose my testicle? Can I still have kids? That was the number one thing because I want kids so bad. Can I still have kids? Is my testosterone lowered? Is my voice gonna sound like this the whole time? Because I only have one testicle. And so he was like, no, actually what happens is your testicles is like your kidneys or your lungs. If you lose one, you can still survive because there's two. So what happens is if you lose one testicle, your other testicle will compensate, it will grow bigger. And so it will actually compensate for the other testicle being removed. So you will actually, your testosterone will still be the same. Your voice won't be lowered. You can still have kids as long as you can get the erection, as long as you can get your dick hard. That's all that matters. And so as long as you can ejaculate. And I was like, okay, I guess the only thing that's, it will just look different. That's the only thing. And I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. I'm cool. So I'm at the hospital bed. They put the anesthetic on me. They're like, count down from 10 to 0. I'm like, 10, 9, and I'm gone. And so I wake up, which seems to be like instant. Like I don't even have any dreams or anything. It's literally as soon as I sleep, I wake up like a second later. I wake up and I'm just like on the hospital bed, and I'm like, I see a nurse standing up down to me, and she's like writing something on a clipboard. I'm like, hey nurse, can I? So do I still have my testicle? And she was like, yeah, unfortunately. And as soon as I heard that word, you know, that's the word you don't want to get in any job application email. You don't want to get for any, you don't want to hear that after a surgery. So I heard that and I was just like, cool, that's cool. I already accepted it. now a one-ball man. Like, I am singular, testicular, male. Anyways, at that time, I was like, I accepted it. I was like, okay, that's so cool. Like, thankfully, I did the prep work prior so that I could mentally prepare myself. Because I feel like if I didn't mentally prepare myself, I would be pretty depressed. Like, I would feel less of a man. But the crazy thing is, I feel more of a man than ever. Like, my testosterone is higher than level. I actually tested my testosterone afterwards, and I felt bloody amazing. I felt so good with myself, you know? And I've been putting on the mass. I'm 71 and a half kilos. I'm the strongest I've ever been in a long time. I squatted more than 100 kilos for the first time in like a couple years, like last week. So I'm making progress, guys. So don't feel bad for me. This is not a sob story. This is actually just a story about why I wanted to make this podcast. And so after this surgery, I started like thinking differently, so differently. I'm physically a different person. I'm mentally a different man. And I'm spiritually a whole different being, because I'm now propelled into the life of someone that's have a life of urgency. I need to preserve this one seed left, you know, this one testicle that is the sole reason why, the sole thing of how I can have babies. Like, I've wanted babies my whole life. And I don't know exactly why. Maybe it's being indoctrinated into me. Maybe because I'm the only male Chaw in my whole family. That's my last name, Chaw, Brendan Chaw. I'm the only male in my bloodline left, and I guess I take a lot of pride in that growing up. And so, if I don't have children, then there will be no more Chaws. And so, I guess that was a huge reason why I've wanted kids. And I just love children. I love children. I've always just marveled at the idea of little baby Brendans running around. Like I love kids, you know? And so that experience really opened my eyes, and I was like, okay, I need to get a move on. I need to build a legacy for my family. I need to set something up. I need to do something. I need to take action more. I need to go harder every single day. There's no time to waste. And so tying that back to why I'm starting this podcast is because I wanted to do a podcast for so long, and I've always had that thought, like whenever I have conversations with my friends. Wait, let me double check if it's still recording. Yes, still recording. 22 minutes in. Okay. Yeah, I've always wanted to make I've always had that feeling and that thought, like, damn, I wish that I recorded that conversation. Like, after I have a long conversation with me and my mates, if we just catch up over dinner. Shout out to my mate Ray, shout out to my mate Mike, shout out to Daniel, Ashley, all my good friends. Like, I always get that feeling, like, I wish I recorded that. That conversation would have been able to help so many people, men, women, old, young, Asian, black, white. Like, that conversation could have had so much insight and so much wisdom, so much knowledge. It could have helped so many people. If people were listening to that, that would have changed their lives, because it changed me while speaking in that conversation. So I really believe that the conversations I have with my friends are so valuable, so wisdomous, so much full of knowledge and wisdom. And so I've always had that feeling, and so I've always wanted to record my conversations. And so now I came up with the idea of Maverex and Mates. And it's pretty much just me recording my conversations with my friends and sharing them with future generations. Most notably, my future children. Like, the goal of this is for my future children. My baby boys and my baby girls. I love y'all. If you're watching this, I love you so much. This is to you guys. I'm talking to my babies, my future, guys. This is your dad. I love you so much. I can already imagine what you're gonna look like with my tiny eyes. Hopefully, my baby boys, you will have 2 testicles, but all you need is 1. So anything is possible, guys. Oh my God, I can't wait to hold you guys in my hands and this is the story. This is my story for you, and I want you to know that I love you so much. And no matter what you do, I will be proud of you. And no matter what trouble you get into, I will forgive you. No matter what wrong you do to me, whatever, as much as you don't appreciate me, I know that you're going through a certain time in your life, and you're gonna understand one day when you get to my age, when you get to have your own children. And yeah, I just want to let you know that I love you, and no matter what happens, I will always be there for you. And live your truth, be the best version of yourself, and make sure that you become better than me, because we can only have world domination. We can only achieve world domination if we become better and better and better every single day. I love you so much, guys. Like, you know, I was watching this video on YouTube the other day, guys. No, a video on Instagram, and it was talking about how to get to where you are today, you would have to have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, and so on. And it keeps doubling and doubling and doubling. It gets to this point where I think it was like 2048 or something. It's like your 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then 32 gigabytes of RAM, and then 64 terabytes, all those shit. Anyways, long story short, it really puts things into perspective. For you to get to where you are today, there were probably billions of ancestors that had to have sex, and fuck, and make love, and have sex, and give birth, and ejaculate to become who you are today. Like, that's knowing that and acknowledging that every single day is really powerful, because it really makes you know that don't be lazy, yo. You are the product of your ancestors, so we cannot waste our lives. Although we have the best, we can go to Macca's, we can go to KFC and buy any kind of food right now on Uber Eats through the click of a button on your phone. You don't even need to walk there, but they had to hunt. They needed to catch fish. They needed to go out there and fight saber-toothed tigers. Whether you believe in evolution or Adam and Eve, they needed to do something. Cain and Abel. Whatever your belief system is, because that's what it is. It's a belief system, because we don't really know what happened back in those days. We have no proof. We have no videos. And even if we did have videos, how do we know that those videos were real? So, end of the day, we don't really know what happened in our past. You can only have faith. And that's why they call it faith, because you are believing blindly. You just have faith. You're believing without evidence. That's what faith is. So whether you believe in Darwinism, evolutionism, or you believe in the Bible, the Quran, anything, the main thing that we really do know, all we know is that we do not know, a wise man once said. Anyways, I'm kind of going off on a tangent right now, but this whole idea of knowing that we had these ancestors that made us who we are today, we have no choice. We do have a choice, but what kind of person would you be? What kind of person would I be? Would we be if we did not make the most of this every single moment, in this present moment right now? This is all we have. There's a reason why we are put on this earth. There's a reason why you're watching me right now in this episode. We are sharing this moment right now. Whether we be in a simulation, or we're just going to die and go to heaven, or we're just going to die, reincarnate, or we're just going to die and it's going to be infinite abyss of pitch blackness. I don't know. But all I do know is that we do not know. And life is what you make of it. And right now, I make of life as we need to make the most of every single moment. We need to inspire. We need to encourage. We need to love. We need to be passionate. We need to be compassionate. We need to be grateful. So I think that is a good time to end it right now. I just feel like that was the time to finish it off. And if you made it through this far with me, thank you so much. I love you so much. I was in such a rush today. I bought 2 microphones, and right now I'm just using my iPhone XS, and I'm not even using a microphone. It's not even connected to it. So we will progress. I just felt in my heart I needed to get into this room today, record this video, one shot, one take, and that's all I needed to do. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys, my future babies and my future children, my future generation, anyone that's watching this video. I send you the love, and I wish you peace, freedom, prosperity, and love, unconditional love, especially, and gratitude. Thank you for watching this episode, guys. Episode 1 of Maverex and Mates. I'm my best mate. Okay, guys, there's no other people with me. Remember, for yourself, love yourself first. Love the infiniteness of life. Love yourself. Don't be selfish with your love with yourself, but you gotta love with yourself first. You gotta pour into your cup first before you can pour until you can let your cup runneth over into other people's cups. Okay? You don't wanna deplete your cup into other people's cups, because how can you can only give when your cup is overflowing to other people's cups. Yeah, it's like a chocolate fondue fountain, you know, that's how it overflows. You can't give until you're so depleted and like freaking groveling and like malnourished and depreciated and emaciated, where you cannot give anymore. That's not the right type of giving, because you want to give when you are full, because that's the infinite. I'm talking too much. Anyways, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for listening this far, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, thank you so much.